Welcome to Live, Love, Engage, the podcast where we share practical advice from a spiritual perspective on how to create a life and business with more impact, influence, and income. I am your host, Gloria Grace Rand, the insightful copywriter and founder of the Love Method. My mission is to help you stop doubting yourself so you can live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically. And welcome to Live, Love, Engage. I am Gloria Grace Rand, and on today's live broadcast, I'm broadcasting on Facebook, and then the video of this will go up on my YouTube channel later. And of course, if you are listening to this on the replay, you're listening to it on one of the many podcast platforms that this podcast goes out to. Today, I want to talk about handling disappointments. And I just had a mini disappointment a minute ago because I realized that for some reason, the StreamYard was muted, and I have no idea how that even happened. So I'm just going to carry on and just go for it again. I wanted to talk about handling disappointments because I had a couple disappointments happen to me last week. And I am proud to say that I handled them fairly well, because if it had happened to me a few years back, I would have perhaps cried or been really depressed for a day, or reached for a pint of Talenti gelato and eaten the whole thing. But let me set the stage for you a little bit so you know where I'm coming from. I last week was offered an opportunity to actually speak at not one, but two retreats. A woman contacted me. She'd actually been watching the podcast and was, thought that what I had to say would be very useful for her audiences that she was putting together for these two different retreats. And what was really exciting for me was that they were both out of the United States where I live. One was to travel to Costa Rica in the fall, and the other one was going to be in Tuscany, Italy next year. So I was very excited about this. And I started to, since I'd actually never been invited to speak at someone else's retreat before, I had to, not let alone out of the country, I went and did some research. Because I wanted to figure out, how much money, what speaker fee I should ask for. And I also wanted to know what types of things should I know to even ask for in this circumstance with doing something out of the country. And so I posted in a couple speakers groups that I belong to and got some really great advice. And as it happened, as we got through the negotiations and things, it turned out that I wasn't going to be doing the Costa Rica one after all. She decided to go with someone who had experience in her particular industry. And I was okay with that. That was perfectly fine. I was really more excited about the other retreat because that was going to give me an opportunity to really share the love method that I have been teaching for a while now, the one that I wrote about in my new book, Live, Love, Engage, How to Stop Doubting Yourself and Start Being Yourself, which is available for sale on Amazon, actually, right now. And so I was really looking forward to doing this. However, and in the meantime, I submitted a proposal to her, and initially she thought my fee was too high. And so I said, well, let's negotiate. And then we were able to come to an agreement on a speaker fee. She came back to me, and it was actually only a few $100s less than what I had initially proposed to her. So I was feeling quite good about myself and really excited at this prospect. And then about another day later, I heard back from her again. And this time she said, oh, I'm sorry. I've decided not to do this retreat. I'm going to go a different way in my business. And, but thanks anyway. So, talk about a kick in the gut. Here I'd gotten my hopes up so high for doing something cool like that. only to have the rug pulled out from me. Have that ever happened to you? Has that ever happened to you in the past? Had the rug pulled out from you just when you thought something really great was happening? Well, I have done a lot of work on myself, and I really decided that it was okay. I mean, that's basically the thing that I came up with, and it's because I think of some of the work that I have done in studying a book called The Science of Getting Rich, and it's by Wallace D. Wattles, and it's an old book. It was written, sometime in the early 20th century, but it's very similar to Think and Grow Rich, and then it really talks about the power of using our brains and really being able to create a clear vision of what it is that we want, and then holding that vision, and then also letting go the expectation that it will be fulfilled. And what I've realized is that what happened, this experience, is that I've decided, one of the reasons I decided that I'm not going to be disappointed about it is that, to me, it proved that, okay, I do have value and that someone was willing to pay me for that value. And so this didn't turn out. You know what? Something better is coming my way, because I have been creating this vision of myself as a paid speaker, and that I would be doing retreats. And this is part of my vision. And this was a good practice run for me, actually, because what I was able to do is I practiced coming up with a proposal. I now have a speaking proposal that I've put together that I can use as a template for the next time an opportunity comes my way. And I was able to practice negotiating my fees. I didn't freak out when she initially said, "Oh, that's too expensive. I can't really do that." I didn't say, "Oh, okay." It's like, "Oh," and just, slink off with my tail between my legs. No. I stood my ground and said, "Hey, let's see if we can't work this out. Let's negotiate. Let me see what I can do." And that is the lesson that I want to leave with you today, is that when disappointment hits, number one is to look for the silver lining. Is there a silver lining in what happened? Is there something that you can learn from it? Were you able to practice something as I was able to practice, submitting a proposal and negotiating? Look for those opportunities, and then just hold faith that something better is going to come along, that perhaps the reason why this didn't happen was because of something better coming along. And I think the universe gives us these some people might say it's a tease, but I think it's an opportunity. I think it was just a wonderful opportunity. It helped me to really own my value as a speaker, and I was really looking forward to it. And it was good for my ego to know that somebody, invited me to speak at their event. I mean, that felt really, really good. So there was a lot of pluses that came from this. Am I disappointed that I don't get to go on this retreat? Sure. But maybe it's because maybe I'm going to host my own retreat next year. And now it's freed up my my energy, my creativity, that I can actually do that and start working towards that goal. So I think that's essentially the lesson I would like to leave with you today, is to look at those disappointments that come your way, and of course, allow yourself the feelings, because it is important to have those feelings of disappointment, and just say, "Oh, what a shame that didn't work out the way I planned. Bummer." And then look for the bright lining in it. Look for that silver lining. And even if you can't see any right now, trust that one will be revealed to you. Because I can almost guarantee it will. Because I have had disappointments in the past too that have wound up leading to something better. It almost 100% happens that something better comes along. And it might not be something you see right away. It might be something that takes a while. But if you just keep going forward and you keep holding on to the vision of what it is that you want to achieve in life and take action towards making that happen, then something as good or better will inevitably come along. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Live, Love, Engage. If you found some value in what I had to say today and would like to actually talk more about, maybe you need some help in learning how to handle disappointments, I would love to be able to chat with you about it. So you can set up an appointment to talk with me if you go to engagewithgloria.com. And actually, let me see if I can put that up here. Oh, yes, I have it right there. I can show it. There you go. Go, for those of you watching, go to engagewithgloria.com and you can schedule a time to speak with me on my calendar when you go to that link. And let's have a chat. There's no, I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I'm just going to have a conversation with you. And at the end of the call, if there is an opportunity where you decide that you would like to work with me, well, then we can have that conversation too. But initially, I just want to be able to support you, help you to gain some clarity on what it is that you need support with, and we'll go from there. So until next time, as always, I encourage you to go out and live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically.